Yesterday night, Argentina defeated Venezuela in what is their final World Cup qualification match in front of their home fans. They play Ecuador, I think, on Wednesday away, and that, I think, will wrap up all qualification matches. But yesterday night was the final one in front of the home fans. And there was a lot of emotion shown from one man, Lionel Messi, and that grabbed a lot of attention from fans worldwide. It created a lot of speculation. Why was he suddenly so emotional? You know, it's just a qualification match. Surely there's a deeper meaning here. Could this be his final match in Argentina? Could this be his final match for Argentina? Is what some people were worrying about. Is he going to be playing the next World Cup? Well, we have got a bit more clarity on that, but that came after the game. Let's for a start just focus on the game itself. Messi did what Messi does. And look, when I was watching his highlights from the game, I watched a compilation of all his moments and all his touches, because obviously I didn't watch the game, it was in the early hours of the morning. Bro, Messi has still got it. And we love to sort of play down his current ability because he's in the MLS. And obviously that's natural because we don't watch him as much. He's not playing against a strong opposition. When we watch him play in these World Cup qualifiers and the World Cup and the Copa America for Argentina, we can see that the level that he's still at is very high. We even saw it in the Club World Cup. His level is still very, very high, enough to be the best player in an Argentina side, who are one of the best teams in the world, best countries in the world, and also one of the favourites to win the next World Cup. Not only did he have a good game, he scored 2 goals, the first one and the last one, and had a big contribution to the second goal, where his quick thinking read the run of one of the wingers, played the free kick quickly, and Lautaro Martinez finished it off in the box. He didn't get the assist for it, but he created the chance. And it's Messi, bro. He's always going to contribute to your attack. He's always going to be the smartest player on the pitch. Even if he hasn't got the legs, he's always going to know what to do at the exact time he has to do it at. But look, it was a vintage Messi performance, and he does have those more often than not. Let's be honest, he has better performances more often than not, good performances. So it's not really a shocker. What is more shocking about this was obviously what was said after the game. Lionel Messi came out in a post-match interview, again, very emotional, as if he just played his final match in front of the home fans, and had a few things to say about his future. And one of those things was not confirming or denying whether he will be playing for Argentina in the next World Cup. Now, what all of us had assumed, or what everyone pretty much thought, what was going to happen was Messi would play the 2026 World Cup for Argentina in USA and Mexico, which is maybe partly of the reason why he moved to the United States in the first place, to acclimatize and get used to maybe the climate and the stadium and all this kind of stuff, the atmosphere. But yeah, we all thought he'd play that World Cup as a kind of last dance with the national team, and then straight after that retire from both the national team and club football. Now, obviously, that was all speculation. Messi has never come out and publicly said any of that. But now he has hinted at being unsure about whether he's going to play the World Cup for 2026. He said in the post-match interview, he's taking it day by day. I'm taking it day by day. I'm going to be honest with myself, is what he said. When I feel good, I enjoy myself. But then he said, when I don't feel good, I don't enjoy it. So it's just about how he feels playing football. And right now, let's be honest, he looks comfortable. He looked very comfortable in this game. He's looked comfortable in the MLS. The only real fact I think that could change things is if he gets a major injury, or suddenly maybe he starts having some off-pitch issues. Suddenly he starts developing some pain somewhere. You know, that is probably the only thing that could stop him from playing this World Cup. So in my opinion, and most people's opinion, he will still play the World Cup 2026. He's just being a little bit cautious about it to maybe not disappoint everyone if something bad does happen which prevents him from playing. I am very confident that if Messi's fit, if Messi continues playing how he's playing in the USA, he will be there at the World Cup 2026. I wouldn't worry about that. The bigger worry for me is what happens after that, because I don't think Messi would have been crying in a game like this against Venezuela in a World Cup qualifier if it didn't mean something bigger. So I do see that this might have been his final game in Argentina, or at least his final competitive game. You know, maybe after the World Cup, for a kind of magical send-off, they organize a friendly in Argentina with a national team against another country, just to give him a proper send-off like he deserves. But I am a bit more confident about this being his final Argentina match than I am about him not playing the World Cup. I do think that what will happen is he plays the World Cup and then maybe says goodbye to football. And look, it's going to be sad when he does. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's inevitably coming. It's right around the corner. World Cup is in less than a year's time, and I think so is Messi's retirement. He hasn't been playing in Europe for now, 2-3 years, and we know that he's not as motivated about club football anymore. And the only thing really keeping him in the game has been the national team. And he's already completed football with the national team. He's won the last 2 Copa Americas, and he won the last World Cup and the Finalissima, just to add on top of that. He really doesn't have anything else to prove in football. And I don't think he's really driven to win an MLS title or an MLS Cup or a Leagues Cup or anything like that with Inter Miami. I think he's collecting the paycheck. He's making sure, his children and family have a comfortable life. And yeah, he's setting himself up for the future, which good on him. It's what a lot of other players have done, like Ronaldo to Saudi. They've all done the same. And a lot of other players have as well. And you have to, respect it. They've given so much to the world of football. If they want to sit back and now focus on an international career, I don't have much of an issue with that. It's something that happens very commonly when very good athletes or very respected athletes get to that kind of age where their priorities start to shift. They no longer are as hungry to win every title, and they kind of want to maybe sacrifice that to spend more time with family or, make sure their health is and they're in good shape and all this stuff. And that is completely respectable. We've seen that in tennis as well with Novak Djokovic. Djokovic obviously is, in my opinion, the greatest of all time in tennis. A lot of people's opinion is as well. And if you don't have him as the number 1, you've got him as your number 3, And we've seen him at what he is now, 38 years old, taking a lot of time off in between Grand Slams. Grand Slams is only 4 a year. He's barely playing the major tournaments in between just to kind of conserve his body for these big tournaments that he really cares about. And so he can also spend more time with his family and not be traveling all over the world just to play in these less meaningful tournaments to him at this stage in his career. He's already won 100 of them. So I think that's exactly what's happening here with Messi. His priorities have sort of shifted. He's no longer driven by club football. He's already completed that. He's now focusing on Argentina and leaving a legacy in his home country. And that to me is completely respectable. And look, I'm going to really enjoy watching Messi this World Cup. It's going to be the last dance for a lot of people. We thought the 2022 World Cup was going to be the last dance for all these guys. It might end up being this one. And I mean, I don't really see an option as to how it's not. Ronaldo is 40 now. Messi is 37, 38, turning 38, I think this summer or this next summer, or maybe even 39. I don't even know. But yeah, he's not young anymore. He's not. And he's not even not young. He's just old. He's old for a footballer. He's old. So I would not be surprised if he is coming to the end of his career. Now, look, obviously the conversations are not whether Messi can still do it at top level. We've just seen he can. And we've seen, when he's motivated, which is when he's with the national squad, or when he's playing in a club World Cup or something like that, he can turn it on and show the world the best of himself. But again, he's not going to want to be doing that week in, week out in the MLS, potentially harming his body and sacrificing these moments with the national team, is he? So after this World Cup, I don't see an incentive at all for Messi to keep on playing football. At all. So that to me is my kind of hypothesis on what's going to happen. Messi will play the 2026 World Cup and then retire. We've also got some words from Lionel Scaloni, which is the Argentinian manager, obviously. Well, first, let me tell you what Messi said about the World Cup. So he stated, "We'll see. I haven't made a decision about the World Cup. I'll finish the season, then have pre-season, and there will be 6 months left. So we'll see how I feel." Because obviously the MLS season ends, I don't even know what, December or November or something like that. It's a calendar year type of calendar. So there's not like the traditional season in the Liga, in the Premier League and Liga 1, which goes from August to May. It's from January or February to, like I said, November, December. And so that means that when his season ends, he will have a lot of resting time from January all the way to May or June, whenever the World Cup starts, to just rest. And that's a big positive because it nullifies the risk of him getting a major injury, which potentially sets him back from the World Cup. In fact, we know Messi is very good at not getting injured. He's got a very durable body, and it seems crazy because he's a very nimble player. He's a very agile player, but he does get kicked a lot. And In fact, there was a scare, I don't know if you remember or not, but the last World Cup in 2022, the one he won, he got injured with PSG just weeks before because obviously it was a mid-season World Cup and he got injured. I think that scared a lot of people, but he just skipped the next PSG game and made sure he was fit for the World Cup, and it all turned out good. But there's no risk of any of that happening here. So that does give me a lot of hope that there's no doubt that Messi will play the next World Cup because of this pre-season time we'll just have to spend with family, to reflect on his career, to motivate himself for one more tournament, and again, to rest, to also train a little bit as well. And then he said, so we'll see how I feel. Now let me read you what the manager said after the Venezuela game. This is a match which Leo has said will be emotional, special, and nice. Because it's true that it's our last qualifying match at home, I think he meant. We have to enjoy it, as we've always been saying. And then he followed up by saying, I'm sure that it won't be his last game in Argentina. And I say that we'll make sure that if he decides it's the last game, we play another, because it's obvious to do that in the right moment and because he deserves it. He earned the right to decide when to stop. From our side, he'll always have support. So that again kind of reinforces my idea that after the World Cup, he will choose to retire and there will be some kind of ceremonial game or just farewell in Argentina, Argentinian national side, maybe against Portugal. That'd be sick to see. Imagine that, an Argentina versus Portugal, and then maybe doing the same thing in Portugal. That'd be sick, honestly. I've just made up a good idea. Anyone watching that, organise that. Ronaldo, Messi, one last dance with their national sides in Argentina, then Portugal. That'd be honestly awesome to see. But yeah, that's what I think will happen. Maybe against a Brazil, maybe Neymar, maybe against just another South American side. Spain maybe could be in the mix. Anyone. But that's what I think will happen. Because there's no way that they're going to allow this to be his last game in Argentina. After everything's done for the national team, there's something that they need to give back to him. And I know Messi's a very humble guy in terms of he doesn't like to showboat or kind of be the center of attention and have everyone throwing praise at him. I'm sure he knows how good he is and what he's done in football, but he doesn't really like being reminded of it in front of his face. But come on, I think he'll make an exception. When it's his own country, he'll have always family in the stands, always supporters, always former neighbours, former teachers and friends and all this stuff. It'll be a lovely moment that I think he can't refuse. That's what I hope to see happen. Honestly, that would be my ideal. I don't even want Messi to continue after 2026. And genuinely, because it would be selfish for me to want more from this guy. I would obviously rather Messi never retired and just continued playing and scoring goals and giving us wonderful moments. But that's not going to happen. Messi's got a family. Messi's got other priorities. He's probably got other ambitions in life that he wants to pursue. Or maybe he just wants to sit back and relax. He's earned the right to do whatever he wants. So, again, if what he desires is to retire after the 2026 World Cup, which is what I think it is, so be it. And honestly, the day he retires will be one of the most bittersweet days of all time. Because not only will we be filled with so much sadness that this guy's gone, but it'll be such a good moment to reflect on everything this guy's done. And I think only then will all of us realize how much this guy's done for the sport. We'll go through every moment, every goal, every assist, every dribble, every touch, every final, and we'll just marvel at what we kind of took for granted. But anyways, that is my, like I said, hypothesis and sort of ideal plan for Messi's future career. And yeah, comment below what you think will happen. Whether you think Messi will play the next World Cup or not, whether you think this was his last game for Argentina, whether you think it was the last game in Argentina. Just comment wherever you want. Like and subscribe. And thank you for watching. I'll see you lot in a bit.